Hello everyone, Meghan hates it. Balmoral or bust. Inside story to this. Meghan was humiliated like never before. And I was so happy. I wish she would be humiliated like that many more times in her life. But what was more surprising was that King Charles also took action to punish this naughty daughter-in-law. There is a consensus among all individuals that if there is one thing that we have learned about His Majesty, the King Charles III, it is that he is extremely meticulous. He prefers things to be done in a particular manner. He gets a little irritated if the pen does not function. And most importantly, he has good manners. You know, when the guy failed, of course, to assist the Queen Camilla, with her raincoat at that recent function, you can understand why he got a little bit irritated over the situation. I completely understand that. Therefore, you are able to comprehend the rationale for this particular report, because, of course, it is currently being widely disseminated around the internet that the two former royals, who are commonly referred to as the Sussexes, have been expelled from Balmoral once more. The answer is yes, and a lot of people are aware of the fact that we just recently presented the very first royal mailbox that had the cipher of His Majesty, the King. On the other hand, the very first royal mail train to be commissioned set out from Bristol and traveled all the way up to London in the year 1784. There is also a lot of fanfare. They were unable to fathom how quickly they could receive mail back then. As you might guess, you know, they couldn't comprehend it. Keep in mind that the stagecoaches have been removed, and the railroads are now making their way in. It's just like everything else, isn't it? Of course, it is. It is true that everything is moving forward, and we are merely a part of that moment. No one could have possibly anticipated the airdrop or the email. Could they? Yes, telex and fax are helping you feel more mature now. Any and every one of those objects are able to signify the trash can. Quite similar to me, however, you should not continue with this. I am aware that I am able to sense it. It's the royal story of the day, and it's back as strong as ever. The departure of His Majesty the King and other senior members of the British monarchy for their summer vacations is, of course, something that takes place around this time of year. One of the most often questions that people ask me, Neil, is why they keep going to Balmoral. Simply put, they are the owners of that particular land, and more importantly, you and I know that they have a strong sense of safety there. If you've ever been there, you should know that it's great. Naturally, Scotland as a whole is stunning, and this particular region of Scotland is no exception. I believe that it is wonderful. When you are able to get up there, you have the impression that you are in an entirely different universe. Unquestionably, a trip to Edinburgh is warranted. Would it be accurate to say that Harry and Meghan have been kicked out of Balmoral? In spite of what their spin doctors may try to convince you of, the plain and simple truth is that this is the situation. Not at all. They are invited. This, however, is what has transpired. And now, I will take you back to the very beginning of this video recording. One must understand that His Majesty the King is a stickler. He prefers everything to be settled in, has a strong desire to be aware of what he is going to be doing at that particular time and on that particular day. Don't you comprehend? As for those individuals, such as Harry and Meghan, who are unable to make a decision on when they want to travel, if they want to go, when they want to go, or how long they want to remain, he is not going to put up with it. In all seriousness, he has just recently removed the carpet. This is something that has caused a great deal of anger, as one can expect, especially among Prince Harry. The feeling that he ought to be, well, whenever they are ready, is something that he naturally has. They are of much more significance than he is. In a word, yes, evidently, his father is the sole person who is in charge of a significant business. It is what we like to refer to as the company. That, in fact, is the true explanation for all that has taken place, mainly due to the fact that in the past, Her Majesty the Queen was a little bit more, if we may say so, flexible with different things. Be that as it may, she was perpetually appreciative of the fact that individuals made the effort to come and pay her a visit. Additionally, it is important to note that His Majesty the King is going to be hosting a number of incredibly special guests, including members of his own immediate family. A few days are spent there, during which time they discuss the upcoming year. After that, they move on to whatever it is that they want to do next, just like William and Catherine would do. What is intriguing, however, is the manner in which the media, and more specifically, the media in Sussex, want to spin it as if they have been kicked out of the house. In every instance, there was an invitation. Nevertheless, it is considered courteous to react to an invitation when you get one. That is something that seemed to elude both Harry and Meghan once again, and again, as it has always been the case. In the comments section below, I would be very interested in hearing your thoughts on this particular story. Do you believe that it is a kind gesture on his part to invite them? Were you going to invite them? As though, and this is of the utmost importance, have you ever visited Balmoral? It would be quite interesting to know. Have you seen the most recent tour, or did you go on it yourself? A wonderful location. Hopefully, adults at Balmoral aren't able to overlook juvenile behavior and just shut the door forever. Harry is beyond ridiculous, and he doesn't understand everyone is laughing at him. Harry and Meghan have a combined IQ of 73. Of course, a narcissist will not be around those who have seen through them. They will always blame you, and they will gaslight you to deflect all the wrongs they've done to you, and to discredit you, to stop you from being believed if you try to expose them. Classic narcissist mentality and behavior. Can you see? There are no children, thankfully, and if there are, they're going to grow up a mess, just like their parents. No child can grow up in such a sick and disturbing atmosphere of narcissism, drugs, and screaming matches, and come out unscathed. One visit to Balmoral isn't going to change it. Children are sponges, absorbing personalities, mental health issues, and problem-solving strategies from their parents. All these children would know is fighting, revenge, manipulation, and endless lies, and stealing by Markle. No social life, never out anywhere doing family things together. Parents gone for weeks on end, numerous times a year, when home, not even around for the whole day on birthdays, preferring instead to go to meetings and pap walks. And believe me, bullies make horrible parents. They bully their own children, and are the first to scream and yell at teachers when their child is reprimanded for bad behavior. But it's a fake love, because they treat their children the same way at home, screaming and yelling at them with harsh, intimidating, overbearing control. The children escape to school where they're free, and then act out problems exactly the way their parents have treated them. It's better, as the children get older, they don't poison the beautiful children of Wales, the Tyndalls, and any other children that will come along. Plus, if those children did exist, they'd have the Markles' genetics. There's a nightmare to consider. If Diana was alive today, she would give her full support to William and Catherine, and she would be thoroughly ashamed of Harry and Meghan for their atrocious behavior towards the royal family. I think if Diana were alive today, there would be no Meghan. Diana would have seen straight through her and sent her packing. Another case may happen. If Diana was living, the situation would never have got so far out of hand. She loved her boys and thought Harry would be William's right-hand man. Unfortunately, she's gone too young. Don't forget that she and Harry did the Oprah interview as Prince Philip lay dying. Next, she did some magazine interviews, which included more insinuations and, not so, veiled threats. Our beloved queen died thinking the world thought her family was racist, and her 70-year legacy, the Commonwealth, was in danger of falling apart. She and Harry rejected every invitation from Her Majesty, ensuring she had no contact with their children. After all that, she had the brass neck to demand to be there, as Her Majesty was dying. Thinking nothing about the damage she had done, the grief she caused Her Majesty, or the feelings of the other family members who were delayed and then arrived too late to say their own goodbyes. Then, she had the goal to ensure she was pictured wiping away that one tear, left eye. They couldn't have got a better shot if it was a photo session. Oh yes, she has the guts. All right. The caveat is that Charles wants them to bring the children. Only come up with the children, or don't come. That is the sticking point. It is gracious of him to invite them along with their children. I always think this spokesperson is really just Meghan stirring up trouble. Apparently, they both missed the classes on manners and how to respond to an invitation. Of course, I think Meghan will never visit the UK, as she will be flushed out with questions about those children. Balmoral is a very special place for the royals, especially since the late Queen spent her final days there. Who would want that tainted by the nasty duo? It seems Meghan doesn't want gag gifts for Christmas. Her gag gifts were evil, giving Catherine a sharp knife. In short, that game should be scuppered by King Charles III. No reconciliation, no communication, no invitations. Remove all oxygen from this toxic relationship and leave it to wither into nothingness. Fine, everything is okay. Everything is moving in its proper orbit. Good people are still liked, and bad people are still boycotted. One thing is certain. The public's hate for Harry and Meghan will never go away. You will not be alone in your dislike for these narcissists. I am also opposed to them. Thank you for watching the video. Do not hesitate to express your thoughts about this couple in the comments section. I always welcome and respect any contributions. Please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Now goodbye, and we'll see you again.